Continue with Terry in York, PA. A chance for him. Terry, good afternoon. How are you today, pal? What do you have? Terry.
Hey, Chris, I'm good. Eric kind of stole some of my thunder, Eric in Long Island. But with the Eagles and this whole deal, I mean, if you look at what the teams in front of them now that they're at 12 are going to do, there's a chance that 6 quarterbacks go, the first 4, and then you have Denver and Carolina. So essentially, they still have the 6th pick as far as the player pool goes of non-quarterback talent. So they picked up a first-rounder next year, which I think is actually the 49ers first-rounder that the Dolphins got. That's what they gave Philadelphia.
Oh, I think it was. I think it was Miami's. I thought it was Miami's, but go ahead. You'd rather have it be Miami because they're not going to be as good. I think it's Miami, but I'll double check that. Go ahead. You continue.
Well, either way, if Carson Wentz plays 75% of the snaps next year, then they're going to have 3 first-round picks next year, which we talked about. But if Jalen Hurts ends up being the guy, they can use those 3 first-rounders to get another stud player to put around Jalen Hurts. So they've put themselves in a situation where they almost could mess up the Hurts thing and still end up with some good players. Or if Hurts ends up being good, then they have Hurts, and then they have some first-round talent around him. I mean, everybody in Philadelphia seems pretty upset about this, and they go back to Howie not being able to draft. But, the Eagles did take Fletcher Cox in 2012 with the 12th overall pick. So that's a spot where they've done well before, and Howie was a part of that, even though I think Andy Reid was still there then. So it's not awful for the Eagles. And, if they weren't going to take a quarterback, I guess they really wanted to get Zach Wilson, but that almost solidifies the fact the Jets are taking him because Ian Rappaport said the Eagles wanted Zach Wilson, and they realized they couldn't get him, so that's why they ended up making this move after the Niners and Dolphins trade.
Yeah, 100%. It is the Dolphins' first-round pick next year. It's not San Francisco's. Good job for Terry. I just double-checked that. It says their number 1 pick next year. It's got to be Miami. That's what that means. The problem that Philadelphia is I don't think Hurts is the answer. So Wentz, I still have some hope that he can salvage his career. We have to wait and see on that. Not a lot of hope, but some hope. As far as the Hurts thing is concerned, I don't think he's going to be a guy that you can win with overall. He'll have his little moments because he's a good competitor and the players play hard for him and all that, but he's not great. He's just you can't listen. If he couldn't play in Miami, if he couldn't play in Alabama over Tua, what's that tell you? So he's not great. So they might have secured some extra picks here, but the problem with it is they still have an issue at that position. So that would concern me some from that standpoint. Dell in Miami, he's with us here. He's on Mad Dog Unleashed. Dell, good afternoon. How are you today, pal? What do you have? Dell.
I'm doing great, Mad Dog. Thanks for taking my call.
You got it,
We're
Dell.
about split 50-50 down here in Miami with all this trading around stuff. Half of us wants to get a quarterback, and the other half says it's a good thing. And I'm not so sure on Tua either. So I'm not quite sure how we benefit. I think we might get the receiver out of Devontae, out of Alabama, I think. But I don't know about this trade, man. This seems kind of shaky to me because I'm not too.
Well, I mean, listen, the problem with the trade, a good call, Dell. Here's the issue for Miami. Miami did one of 2 things here. They either decided that they still like Tua, okay, or they decided that the alternative to Tua, they be Trey Lance or Fields, is not good enough. So that is what they decided. So they decided, well, no, we got to give the kid a chance. He didn't have a training camp. We drafted him number 5 a year ago. He played 5 or 6 games, albeit not great, but he played 5 or 6 games. We got rid of Fitzpatrick. We got to give him a chance. So we'll give him the best receiver we can come up with. We'll get collateral down the road, and we'll let Tua be the quarterback this coming year. He deserves that with an opportunity. We did love him last year. Or they have said, well, listen, all right, maybe Tua is not the answer, but nor is Lance or nor is Fields, and I can't get Zach Wilson. So we might as well move down a couple spots and get an extra first-round pick out of it. So Miami did okay here. Miami did okay. And if you look at the idea, if you go by and look at the idea regarding the whole thing with the fact that the Falcons will probably take a quarterback, those are 4 picks there, and Cincinnati's going to take the lineman. They should be okay with that 6th pick of drafting the best player on the board. They don't want a lineman anyway, and they don't want a quarterback. They just told you that. So they should be in a situation where they can get the best player on the board at 6. And I would think for them it's an offensive player for Tua because their offense is spotty. That's what I would think. A receiver. Maybe a tight end. They have a good tight end. The kid from Penn State, Galicki's good. A receiver. Let's do the update. It's with Zig. We'll come back with Lon Kruger in a sec, and your calls to wrap up the hour on the football. We continue here on Mad Dog Unleashed. Back after this.